All right. So, as the title implies, basically, I came to a conclusion today after doing some research. Um, and this is a common theme that they've been doing a lot throughout my life. Is even when I was doing research online for my master's program, they're using censorship and they're controlling my server and the information that's on it. And I noticed that when I would do research and try to find pertinent information, that my classmates and other people would get information, and then my information was always basically narrowed down, or it was always information that wasn't enough. And what they're doing is they're censoring the amount of information that they give you, or they'll give you information that's marginal or information that's an alternative, which causes you to um, reapply new logic or deviate from the path in which you were going. Um, when I do my own legal research uh, in the past for lawsuits, these people are manipulating the information. So when you go to do your research, the things that are populating are not populating enough information, or they're populating exclusive information. That's the big thing. Is hey, quiet, please. Quiet, please. Enough. No more, please. Thank you. So what they're doing is they're only supplying my internet with exclusive information, and it's exclusive meaning it doesn't give broader understandings, and it doesn't give pertinent, or sometimes in this case important information. And what will happen is as you start to do things, they'll have the insult occur, and then you'll later find after research that they've opened up or they pulled the veil on the censorship. And then all of a sudden, more information is elicited. And so what they're doing is they're feeding you isolated information that they only want you to have so that they could get away with the um, the violations. And so not only that are they doing the censorship to the internet information and the law information that you're finding, but they're also going through and spoliating your evidence to make sure that they get away with it as well. And so this is what's going on in the court case. And then the reason I bring this up is because on my vlog, I had, I think around, what is this, 120, maybe like 115 to 117 series, or vlogs 115 to 117. Somewhere in that area, I have a vlog on the, um, not the fraud, the, what is it? Oh gosh, I forgot. Um, Gosh, what was it? Was it the hotel? Yes, I think it was the hotel. So the hotel deal, and I shared all this information about the text and all of the push text that I got on the 23rd of August. All of this information basically that I received, and I got all this fraud notification. I had police constantly talking to me, trying to call me, going back and forth all day around the 19th. Well, come to find out, the 19th of August was a specific day that they were targeting, which was the not only the statute of limitations, which I did my research for my arrest on the 19th. My statutes of limitations for that is 2 years for personal injury. But the thing about it is not just that. It's important to also put in a 6 month notice, a notice of claim. And if you don't have the 6 month notice of claim plus the statutes of limitations of filing the claim within 2 years of the personal injury in the event, on the day of the event is when it starts, then you may not get the authorization to pursue anything. So this is why they were pushing all of these emails, and I'm getting all this excess attention and all of this drama and all of these things that you can imagine. Also, there was a barrage of things that they targeted there with that interception of email, phone, and telephonic drama and cinema on that day and that series of days around August 19th. Was I had school, I had credit cards due, I had the court was due on August 20th. I had a court date. And so they had all that they did all that and they calculated it. And then that was the day of personal injury. So I'm supposed to put in a notice of claim for personal injury. Was the deadline was was on August 19th. And so they were calling me, trying to keep me busy all day, shooting emails and everything, keeping me busy all day, knowing that that was the deadline. And what they did was, because I looked up the statutes of limitations for personal injury since I sustained personal injury. And when I did my research back in April, okay, this happened in February 19th, I was doing my personal injury research in March and April. And every time I did it, it was always reflecting on all the websites that I had a 2-year statutes of limitations. Now, all of a sudden, that 6-month period is over. And when I do my research for that, they're saying that not only is there a statute of limitations of 2 years, but all of the literature now reflects that there's also a need for a 6-month notice of appeal, or excuse me, notice of a claim. And so this is what I'm talking about, is they're not only are they spoliating your evidence, okay? Not only are they keeping you busy and spoliating evidence out of your lawsuits, okay, and preventing lawsuits, but these people are also there subverting the legal proceedings, okay, in multiple capacities, okay, from subversion on deadlines to subversion of your life and your education by removing research information. I mean, the list goes on. And now, looking at the 119 series Delta videos on how police handle the city ordinance, which is considered a civil tort or a civil wrong if violation is confirmed. But you have to take in consideration that he's made intent to allow this to happen. And so this is harassment, and this is stalking to the second degree after you've said stop. It's almost a month later, it's 3 weeks later, and he is still allowing the dog to do this after 2 physical notifications that he's acknowledged. This is stalking to the second degree, and this is harassment. So now we're in criminal proceedings and we're in civil proceedings. And this is exactly what my civil lawsuit has been about, the one that I put in federal district court Hugo Black back in January 29th of 2024. It has elements of criminal and civil tort. And the problem is, with the civil conspiracy that's ongoing, the question then becomes is, how do you apply the appropriate rules of procedure when things come into question, as there's a continuum of civil torts and criminal wrongdoing that's nonstop. And if I have an open civil case that's an ongoing conspiracy, my research tells me that you can only make amendments typically like 21 to 30 days, depending on the jurisdiction or the court in which you file. And the problem is there's always an ongoing issue. So now comes into play the application of anarchy into structure and order. And this is what's going on in the Homewood Police Department. They're going to use permissive neglect and coercive control in order to place me in a situation where I have to confront thousands of people, hundreds of people following me and tracking me. And then they say that it's not real. And then I go through personal injury. And at the same time, they're making sure that spoliation of evidence occurs. And not only that, but there's subversion of the legal proceedings and due process by keeping you busy and harassed at your residence, okay, with the dog, with the cars, and with the persistent spamming and email hacking, right? So that you miss deadlines. And there is a definite and obvious effort there to target August 19th as that's the deadline to meet the the claim, the notice of claim, and that would be necessary in order to place a legal responsibility for wrongdoing to the municipality, and that has to be for personal injury, and that has to be filed within 6 months. But I have 2 years for statutes of limitations in order to continue the process. But a notice of claim does have to be filed. And so you notice that I put on here on August 19th the significant amount of subversion that I was receiving through telephonic or internet communication. And it's cyber stalking because these people are states away. It's federal, right? It's 2261. It's federal violation. These people are reaching out to me from states away in order to subvert this. You remember that whole hotel fraud piece was just thrown out the window, and the person walked away and never even made a reservation. They just walked away from the hotel. They made some drama in the hotel, and then all this stuff happened basically, and they just walked away, said forget about it, went on to somewhere else. And that's all they did. They just went in, they just walked in there, pretend they were me, made all this, they made a story up, everybody made a story, and then at the end of all this, the police comes back, and the person just walks away, hunky-dory, nothing was questioned by them, you know, like they just walked away, that's it. And they just went in there and just created all this problem stuff, okay? All around those days preceding. August 17th leading up to the 19th, making sure that you don't follow through with the administrative process. And this is common. This is common. This is counterintelligence. So with that being said, I'm going to be making a court hearing because I've had enough of all the subversion, and I want to address this face to face beyond the sergeants and everything, because it's interesting to me going back yesterday why it is that whenever I'm giving the applicable amount of evidence, they wouldn't want to take it. They didn't really want to read it. You know, they just kind of skimmed it. They didn't want to go over it. And so it's just, I said I had enough. I had more information, you know, regarding pictures and stuff. And they didn't want me to email it to them. But what's strange about this is when I talk to investigators about theft, they want to get a hold of me with email, and then they have me email them the pictures and videos. Instead, they want this to continue an ongoing process, and then I'm supposed to continue to let it happen. And then I'm supposed to, and it's just nonstop. I told them I've already dealt with it for over a year. This is the Conspiracy Broadcasting Network 120. And this morning, you'll notice on 119 Delta, the series, that the Officer Cooper, the first one to respond, had walked into the dog shit, green dog shit, on his entrance to my house around, I think it looked like 7 or something like that. Late 6 o'clock or early 7 o'clock, or maybe it was 7 or something. Long story short, you've seen how much time it ate up. Okay, I was out there at 9:45 all evening it took to address this concern, and it took up my entire evening instead of them just going and having a, you know, just saying, all right, we'll address it tomorrow or whatever, yada, yada. He said he's going to look into it, but I don't know. These people don't ever get back to you. So there's so much more drama that has to go on my vlogs that I'm going to be revealing. So I can't just go a month without there being issues. And this is part of the counterintelligence. They're willing to undermine the court proceedings. They're willing to use spoliation of evidence for the court proceedings. They're willing to do whatever it takes, basically, to make shortcomings, and they're willing to undercut and take shortcuts, lie, cheat, and steal in order to get their way. And this is what society is. This is the justice system, and it's strange that that they're going to this extent in order to undermine everything that I do, which includes due process. 119 and 1120